Hey guys, Eric at SideQuest Comics, and welcome back to a new video for this week. And today I have the second part of a little bit of coverage that I did at C2E2 just recently. It's only been about a week, 2 weeks now since went to C2E2, and I did go just for the one day, and I tried to get as much as I could in there. But if you missed my first video, you could go ahead and check it out. It'll be the one probably right before this one, where I cover over my haul loot that I got at C2E2 in that first day. Most of it was signatures because I went and saw a lot of the creators that I wanted to see. But I did have a little bit of time before they basically kicked us out of there to do a little bit of shopping. So I showed that off in that video. On this video, I actually have my 10 for 10. So I managed to find, there wasn't too many in that little short time I had to shop, too many booths that I found that had dollar bins that I could dive in. But I did find one, and as soon as I found it, I didn't want to waste any time. I dove right into it. Unfortunately, that means I don't have any video to show you guys where I usually am digging and I'm pulling out different books. So I guess in a way it makes it shorter and easier for you guys to digest, but I did manage to find $10 books, and I love going over these with you guys so you guys can see what I got. I find some odd stuff sometimes, which is really fun thing about it because you never know what you're going to find, and it's only $1, right? And I like going over these and explaining or talking about why did I get this dollar book. I mean, some people may look at some of the books you see in the dollar bin and be like, why would I ever want that? You know what? I always say, as long as it's not falling apart, I can still read it. I can still enjoy it. And it's only $1, so it's not going to break the bank. And then you know what? If you don't want it in your collection, you can pass it on to somebody, down the line, a friend that might be interested in the topic of the comic, or just, pay it forward, donate it to like library or reading programs and stuff like that. It's a good way to get the next generation into the comics, right, guys? So I think without me babbling too much, since I don't have any coverage of me actually digging, because I think I was doing this, I want to say it was like the hour before they kicked us out, which I think was 7:00 at night. And I picked some really quick because I didn't have time to be picky. So I just grabbed some stuff that I thought looked interesting. So let's go ahead and go down. We'll take a look at this stack I got for $10 and we'll go over it. All right, guys, 10 comics for $10 from C2E2. Pretty good stack here, I think. So let's go ahead and jump into it so we don't make this too long of a video. But I am going to jump right into this one. This is Spidey Super Stories number 24. Came out in 1977. I don't have a whole lot of these ones, but I think this is kind of a really cool series. I think they should bring something like this back. This was a partnership with Marvel Comics and Electric Company. And as you see on here, it says that it is a easy reader comic book. So yeah, this is something that they made to promote reading for young kids, to get them into reading. And what better way than to read about Spider-Man battling villains? It's very cool. It's pretty beat up. When I find these, I usually find them in the discount bins, and they're pretty beat up. But it's kind of neat concept for kids to get them into reading and just in comic books in general. And so that was one of my finds there. Next up, we have one that I've been falling in love with. And this is actually volume 2 of Jimmy Olsen. And this is number 1 from 2019. Now, this is a B cover for the first issue. It was very cool. And this is a Ben Oliver cover. And I'll put, some of the different artists in the text down below. But yeah, this was a variant cover. I have the regular cover, and this was a 12-issue Max series. So it's something that DC did. I have most of the series. I've been finding these a lot in the discount bins, but this one's just kind of a funny cover. I like that it's a painterly style. And Jimmy, of course, getting into trouble, some giant monster trying to eat him. And, what's going to happen is Superman's going to bail him out. So, yeah, very fun series. Hijinks. It's just nonsense and shenanigans that Jimmy gets into. So it's a lot of fun. So another DC one that I found, and this was a cool one. It's a Hanna-Barbera mashup that DC did a couple years ago. This is Green Lantern and Huckleberry Hound special number 1. Came out 2018. I have a few of these. There's a lot of these I'm trying to find. I do have the Aquaman Jabberjaws one, which is a very humorous mashup, and this one's no different. But this one's a little bit different in the sense that it kind of tackles some very adult themes in it. Like I think John Stewart here, being he's in a Marine, he goes they go in time, back in time somehow, and he goes back into the Marines and visit Vietnam. So they're kind of dealing with issues with Vietnam, and then Huckleberry Hound is dealing with the civil rights movement and stuff at that time. Hence, he's wearing a tie-dye T-shirt. Very interesting. I have to read it again. It's been a little bit of while since I've read this. I haven't read it since I got it, so I'm going to revisit it. And it also has bonus story part 2 of 4 with Secret Squirrel. So, yeah, I'm trying to track down these. They're all one-shots that came out with Hanna-Barbera, where they're matching up DC characters with one of the Hanna-Barbera characters. So, yeah, and they did, of course, A covers, B covers. So, this is an interesting one. So, like I said, I'm going to have to reread it and see how this works out. But it does have a little bit of adult themes in there. So it's not just a kiddie book. Last one I found for DC, and me, guys, I love my Aquaman. This is from Aquaman Volume 8. It's a B cover for number 50. And this came out 2019. And they boast the return of Black Manta. This is the Year of the Villain. This is one of the the storylines they had going at that time with a bunch of the different titles. And yeah, this is a Ryan Sook variant, so very cool. I saw this. I'm like, you can see Aquaman and Mera in the reflection of his eye sockets of his mask there. Very cool cover. I almost actually wish this. I would love to see this as a foil. I think it'd be really cool to see this. But yeah, I already have the regular issue. And seeing it, I was like, yeah, I got to get this. I mean, it's got Black Manta, his arch enemy, on the cover. And I love seeing some of these old ads in the comics. Like this one's actually an ad for the Jimmy Olsen one that I was just showing. So, and there's Black Manta right there. And we'll ad for the Wonder Woman movie. So, yeah, very cool find. I'm going to pick up. This is one of those series that sometimes I will pick up variant covers just because I love them. They're some of the artists that do the variant covers are very, very cool and unique. So, worth collecting. Next up, here's another DC one. This is one I've been picking up in all the dollar bins. I am 7 away from the full run of The Warlord, and this is number 29. Came out in 1980, and this is a creation by Mike Grell, who did some Green Arrow stuff in the 80s, but this was his baby, was Warlord, and this was such an epic cover that I couldn't resist it. It's a little worn here and there, but you know what? I'm just putting together the run. So I'm not too overly concerned about condition of these books. And I mean, this isn't too bad. It's a good read. It's an interesting series. I know I've talked about this a couple times, and my buddy Nate at Hall Yeah Comics has turned me on to this series. And I remember having an action figure of the Warlord, but it's a weird storyline. It's kind of Conan. It's kind of sci-fi because he's inside the planet, not flat planet, but is in what I forgot the term that they call it, the inner Earth. And it's just interesting. It's a weird fantasy sci-fi mix. So almost done with this series. So I'm going to pick this one up for $1. That's for sure. And then that's it for Marvel and DC. But sticking with Mike Grell, here's another one that he did. This is Star Slayer #1 from 1982. This was a series that was put out by Pacific Comics, which, if you don't know, is a comic company that I think first showed Gru the Wanderer, Rocketeer, and some other ones that had, it attracted some, fairly well-known artists and writers to the comic company. But yeah, this one, I don't know, it's one of those series that I'm starting to get interest because I've been picking up a couple of these when I tracked down the Rocketeer. But I think the best way to describe Star Slayer is it's basically space pirates is what it is. So it's kind of interesting. And there's an ad for Rocketeer I just opened up to. kind of interesting storyline. Another interesting world to explore. Just very similar to Warlord. I mean, look at that big splash page that Mike Grell did. So yeah, it's one that I think I'm gonna kind of continue chasing. I think as long as he was doing the writing and the art on them, and this artwork is, it's very phenomenal. I just picked that one up by Neal Adams, and yeah, look at that cover. That's cool wraparound cover, kind of like a Stonehenge looking thing there. But yeah, Starslayer Saga of the Jolly Roger. It's future universe of adventure. So yeah, they go to different planets and all that stuff. So interesting take. Once again, another one that you can find, for cheap. So a lot of fun to read. Okay, so my 7th pickup is another independent. This was only a one shot. It's Nat Rat, The Dark Gnat Returns, #1. It came out in 1986. This is a one and done. And obviously what they're, kind of spoofing there is Dark Knight. But this is Mark Martin that did this one. He did everything on this, writing and art. Let me show you some of the art, you guys. Yeah, I forgot it was in the bag there, and I wanted to show you some of the art. It's all black and white. It's a typical 80s art. This came out in 1986. And a lot of the independents were black and white back then. So it's got a fair share of reading and dialogue and stuff. So it's not just all pictures, which sometimes the independents can be. But it's still got pretty cool artwork in it. And, and it goes along with I like collecting those 80s anamorphic comics that have ninja hamsters or geriatric turtles or stuff like that. They're all kind of right in the coattails of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but some of them are kind of interesting and entertaining to read. So one and done. Never seen this before, and at first when I first saw it, I was like, oh, is that Batman? No, it's not. It's a spoof. You got some kind of rat guy there. So Nat Rat, Dark Gnat Returns. Okay, this one here is one by Mirage Studios. It was one of those, as soon as I saw it, I grabbed it because I recognized the Kevin Eastman artwork. And this is actually a wraparound cover. So it's kind of cool to see a full artwork by Kevin Eastman there. But this is Mirage Studios presents Prime Slime Tales. This came out in 1986. And this is a 4-issue series. So it ran for a couple issues with Mirage Studios. And this is just kind of a comedy. This character kind of reminds me of Top Cat a little bit. But it's all black and white. Once again, 80s type of stuff. Interesting, kind of cartoony a little bit. But this is a thick thing. It's got, a couple stories in there. And there's an ad for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and some metal miniatures, which, I think I got some of these. I ordered these back in the day. There's somewhere because I recognize the big dinosaur guy and some of the foot soldiers. So I think I probably have these somewhere. But yeah, kind of cool artwork. That's cool artwork right there. So if you guys like independent stuff, this is something to look for. By Mirage Studios. I don't think they did a whole lot other than Turtles, so it's neat to see something different by them. This one, I don't know. I picked it up because I was like, what is this? I had to look it up. This is actually Legends of Log. It's fairly recent. It came out in 2020. And this is #1 of a 4-issue run. It says it's a fantasy book. It's by Alterna Comics, which I've never heard of this company. But they have a couple ads for some of their other stuff in there. So they did a couple other titles. But I don't remember seeing this, especially for a modern book. I think I would remember seeing this. These are some of the characters that are in here. Interesting. And then, it's all black and white, which is kind of interesting. I like black and white art because you can really see the artwork and the line work then. I guess it's just tales of this character Log, which is strange, but I like strange and weird. And yeah, he's battling dinosaurs, it looks like, and evil wizards. So yeah, it's worth checking out. I don't know if I'll ever find any of the other ones, so I was kind of glad that I found at least number one, and I can see it. And there's another side story in here, so it's not the whole story. There's a couple other little stories in here, and then there's like a little interview with the artist and stuff like that, and kind of neat. Some ads for the other stuff. So yeah, keep an eye open if you're kind of interested in something very different. Legends of Log, that's one to maybe put on the hunt list. And then last up, I have this one. It's Plan 9 from Outer Space. 30 years later. This is number 2. Came out 1991. So this is a little older there. And this is actually put out by Malibu Comics, otherwise known as like an Eternity. I guess that was like a sub printing company under them. I think this is probably before Marvel bought them out too. But yeah, this is interesting. So I know the movie Plan 9 from Outer Space. It was one of those drive-in movies that was kind of like a they boasted as, like one of the worst movies type thing. It had the worst budget and all that type of stuff. And, classic sci-fi. So I don't know. There must have been some kind of fan base to make a comic for it 30 years later. And it's a typical 80s comic. It's black and white. And this is actually a little bit risque. So I'm trying to flip through. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on. These aliens are kidnapping all these women, and they have a ray gun that basically makes their clothes disappear. So I was like, oh boy, okay, I see that what kind of book this is. And what's funny is I think later, it's just trying to cover up here. I think later on, yeah, Ma or grandma or somebody, there's a tussle. She gets the gun and she shoots the guy, and his uniform disappears. So. Yeah, it kind of seems like it's a comedy book, sci-fi type thing. I don't see too many creatures and stuff. I mean, it's a little suggestive, but there's no, straight up nudity in it. But yeah, it's different, something different. And I was like, okay, I got to check this out and see what it's about. But yeah, and then there's a little ad for Ninja High School. I remember that one. And Ape Nation. So that was Plan 9 from Outer Space. And guys, that just like that was 10 books for $10. So let's go ahead and go up and we'll close out. Well, there you have it, guys. 10 for 10 from C2E2. Like I said, I managed to find one comic dealer there that had some dollar bins, and I dove into them quick. I wasn't picky, and I hope you liked some of the stuff I found. I usually, when I do those, I try to find very different things that you guys will enjoy seeing because it's different, right? But if you guys haven't done it yet, please consider giving me a subscription. Give me a little thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you know when the next video is dropped. And also, leave me a comment down below. Let me know, you guys, what you thought of these books. I had pretty good range of Marvel, DC, some independents. I'm a sucker for stuff from the 80s. That was kind of my wheelhouse when I was growing up. So like when I see books that I remember seeing back then for $1, I'm going to dive into them. Let me know what your guys' favorite dollar comic was that I found, or if there's something that you have found before that you love. Also, consider checking me out on Instagram. I have an Instagram account where you can go check out my daily posts. I usually have them themed, whether it's Mutant Mondays or it's Friday 1st. And I have been trying to do more shorts for you guys, just to kind of break up some of the content on there to give it a little bit of variety. But make sure you go and check me out over there. But that is all I got for this video. My little bit of coverage from the C2E2. Maybe at the next con, I'll really, get a kick in the butt and make sure I do some really good video coverage, which will be Heroes Con's the next one. So keep an eye open for that in June, July. But that's all I got for this 10 for 10, guys. And while you're out there digging in your dollar bins looking for 10 books for $10. It's a fun challenge. Happy questing, and we'll talk to you next time, guys.